There are so many ways to be a confident person. An important part of your personal development is building up your self-image and your self-worth to a point where you feel confident in any situation. And your confidence comes from your accomplishments and various learning experiences, whether they are good or bad. Self-confidence is paramount to achieving any goal. Think of it this way. If you see yourself as a failure, then you're almost inevitably going to fail. In fact, I'd say that self-confidence, or lack thereof, not a lack of ability, is the main reason that many people are not successful. Low self-confidence leads to low quality outcomes. However, if you're more successful, you tend to have higher self-esteem and higher self-confidence. But you only get this high self-esteem and high confidence from accomplishments. So we're facing the classic chicken and the egg problem. Which came first, the self-confidence or the accomplishments? In this video, I'll teach you how to overcome that chicken and egg problem step by step so you can build up your self-confidence from the absolute bottom and finally start achieving what you want to in life. Number one, stop the negative self-talk. Look, the voice you hear in your head is the voice you'll hear the most often throughout your life, and it's the most influential one. You cannot let that voice talk down to you. And it talks down to you when you've had those apparent failures. But look at it this way from now on. There are no failures. There are only learning lessons. If you did not accomplish your goal and set out to achieve what you wanted to, then you learned a better way. At the very least, think of it this way. You learned what didn't work, and that got you closer to what you're trying to do. And if you take that perspective, it's impossible to ever talk to yourself as a failure or a mishap ever again. And that is the first step. Number two, learn a new skill. Look, confidence comes from competence, and it doesn't matter what you're good at. Once you know that you can become good at something, you start to carry with yourself a certain degree of swagger when it comes to approaching anything else, whether it is familiar or unfamiliar. And I'm telling you, this is what most people are lacking right now when they don't feel confident. So go learn something, and you don't have to become an expert. You don't have to master it. You just have to acquire the skill, acquire the knowledge to the point where you feel confident demonstrating it and using it. For example, go learn a basic song on a piano. Learn a few phrases in a foreign language to where you can converse with a native. I'm big on foreign language. You can see that in this self-improvement video I've linked in the description. Take up a musical skill, or even learn chess, learn how to write, do anything that makes you feel competent where you develop some ability. And here's a hint. Here's how you know that you've developed some competence. You will start to attract attention. When you start hearing someone, even if you feel like the praise is just to make you feel good, if someone says, oh, that's not bad, oh, that's good, that's cool, you've got a little talent, anything in that range, that's a good sure sign that you're developing some confidence, and that confidence is going to bleed over and make you more confident. 3, believe that anything is possible for your life. Look, the universe says only 2 things are expressly forbidden: perpetual motion, or the idea of 100% efficiency and you never run out of energy, and traveling backwards through time, violation of causality for my physics nerds out there. In other words, everything runs out of energy and you can't reverse the flow of time. But if someone's done anything else before, you can do it. And even if they haven't done it, if it doesn't expressly violate those 2 rules that we know now, it might change, then it's possible. So you have to start believing that anything can happen because the universe says anything is possible. Number 4, remember that your life is insignificant. Scientists estimate that the universe is about 13.82 billion years old. That's a long number. It's 15 digits long. To put that into perspective, you're only going to live for 2 digits long, maybe 3 if you're lucky. Here's a comparison. The blink of an eye lasts 300 to 400 milliseconds. That's roughly 1/3 of a second. If the universe were an eye, you don't even live for 1/10 of a blink. This means you don't have time to worry if you fail or succeed. Anyone who gets a kick out of your failures, well, they only have 2 or 3 digits long to live as well. Hopefully, they're making something of it. And if you think that you're going to make a big difference, you might, but you probably won't. Instead, you need to live your life as if this is your only shot, because as far as we know, it is. And it's not long. And when you go, it's only going to take about 100 to 150 years before there's no one on this planet who has any direct recollection of your experiences or the impact that you could have made on someone at all. That means that your grandchildren or the descendants after you, or they're going to be dead. And so no one's going to be around, whoever remembers you. So don't let the fear of what other people think or the fear of how things are going to turn out keep you from taking action and acting as if the universe is on your side, because it doesn't matter. You're not here long enough for the universe to even care. Number 5, take risk and expand your comfort zone. This is the natural conclusion of following the logic from the last step anyway. Once you realize that you are insignificant, life is short, and none of this matters, then you can stop worrying about how things are going to turn out, and you can start taking a few intelligent risks. Because just because life is short doesn't need to mean you need to make it any shorter. Take smart risks. Take ones that challenge you. Go talk to that person you think is cute. Go apply for that job. Go start that business. All that good stuff, right? That everyone says. All of that stuff is going to get you out of your comfort zone. And getting out of your comfort zone is the only way to become confident, because check this out. The current level of confidence you have now that is not high enough for you to feel capable and competent, well, that's because you were residing in your comfort zone. Kind of by definition, it's the area where you feel most comfortable. And if that place does not have a lot of confidence, then you have no choice but to expand and get out of that zone and take more risk. 6, do what makes you feel happy. Now, happiness is what psychologists like to call a subjective well-being. I'm not a fan of subjective life advice in general, so I'll make this concrete. According to positive psychology, a person who has a high level of satisfaction with their life and who experiences a greater positive effect and little or less negative effect would be deemed to have a high level of happiness. Research shows that there's a significant relationship between self-esteem, self-confidence, and happiness. So you have to do what makes you feel happy if you want to have high self-confidence. Do the thing that overlaps with your minimum income requirements for a stress-free life that brings you the greatest enjoyment. This is something that a lot of people have a hard time dealing with and accepting with the whole hustle bro culture. You don't have to go slave away and make 6 figures just because someone says you have to. You don't have to scale your business up to 7 figures just because someone says you have to. If you're content making $60,000, $70,000 a year and you're happy with what you do, or even less, as long as you're happy, that's what matters. Now, don't neglect any responsibilities or like your family, but at the end of the day, it's important that you find that thing that you want to do that makes you happy, that you can keep doing, and reaches and helps you reach all of your goals and keeps a roof over your head. That leads nicely into confidence tip 7. Make more money to have more time. People who say that money can't buy happiness have it wrong, but people who say that it can also have it wrong. Money can only solve your money problems. It just so happens that a lot of your problems happen to come from a lack of money. But once you take care of that, then you've got to deal with all the other areas in your life that perhaps you've been masking behind the solution of needing more money to solve it. Look, money can't make your wife forgive you if you cheat on her. Money can't bring back someone who dies that left too soon. Money can't make you less depressed if there is another nagging issue in your life. But if you don't have enough money, you are not going to be able to think about it. They say money's like water, right? When you have enough of it, you don't think about it. It's everywhere. But when you don't have enough, when there isn't any around, it's the only thing you can think about. And I'll tell you this, it is impossible to feel confident if you don't feel like you have enough money to take care of your basic needs and to pursue whatever you feel is going to bring you the greatest amount of happiness. ideally in a constructive manner. I don't want this advice to be taken as me telling you to go do drugs because there's a special on 8 balls because the border security's down or something crazy like that. No. Look, a study by Northwestern Mutual shows that 92% of Americans feel more confident when they have their finances in order. I don't know what's wrong with the other 8%, but it's clear that having more money can help you feel more confident. Number 8, get in touch with your dark side. If you need to channel negative thoughts like vanity or arrogance or envy, then so be it. The only difference between a hateful critic and an intense rival is how they respond to those negative energies. Look, we all have these feelings, but what are you going to do with them? Are you going to use them to sit around and sulk and hate on people? Or are you going to use it to change your life? And look, when you channel those energies, when you channel that raw jealousy, you all of a sudden find that you're a little bolder in taking risk and going after what you want. Because at the end of the day, if you can't do it for you, do it because you don't think someone else should have it over you. That's really what jealousy is anyway. Harness that. Use it. I'm not telling you to become jealous, and I'm not telling you to become arrogant or vain. But if those are personality traits that are in you, then you need to channel them to something that is going to make your life easier and better and make you feel more confident because of the success that they will bring you. Number 9, fake it till you make it. I once read that it is easier to act yourself into a new way of thinking than it is to think yourself into a new way of acting. Confidence is a state of mind and nothing else, and that state of mind comes from the things you do. At the end of the day, it's a thought process that makes you act with conviction. But if you act with conviction first, if you just go out there and act as if, it's amazing how much more confident that you're suddenly going to feel. You'll gain confidence in a new habit or a new lifestyle or a new set of choices simply by doing them, forcing yourself to do them. Doing the opposite doesn't tend to work out so well. We think about working out and getting in shape all the time, but you don't suddenly get the muscles. You don't suddenly lose the fat. But if you just push yourself to work out for like 20 or 30 days, maybe not in a row, but over the course of 40 or 50, missing every other day, all of a sudden you start feeling like someone who works out. People are going to respond to you like someone who works out because your physical reality starts to reflect that. Number 10, whatever you do, don't give up. Almost nothing works right the first time or the second time. Many times, not on the 4th, 5th, or 10th try. But like I told you at the beginning, each time you're getting closer and closer and closer. And if you give up, you don't know how much space you had left between where you are and where you want to be. You might be right on the other side. And you can't do that. You can't give up. You have to commit to doing the thing. You have to commit to becoming more confident because that's the only way that you're going to do it. It's too hard for many people. They make a mistake, they give up, they decide to throw in the towel because it hurts to fail. It hurts to feel like you didn't make it. But if you change your perspective, like I told you at the beginning of the video, then you'll realize, you'll remember that you did not fail. You just found a way that didn't work, and that got you closer to a way that did work.